What is up, guys? Hope you're having a great Sunday. Just a few heads up here. I'm going to be covering a few different things in this video, including the economic calendar, NQ for the week, and then I'm also going to be covering a few of the trades that I'm looking at. But just a heads up, this Friday I'm going to be out of the country. I'm traveling to Thailand, and I'm actually going to be staying in Asia for the next 3 months. That doesn't mean that anything is going to be changing as far as any updates for live trading, swing trading, day trading, etc. But just know that the time zones will be a little bit different. So I'm going to be trading more London session. I will obviously still trade New York, but I will be calling out more London session because London session is the main time zone that will be most ideal to trade. New York session starts at around 8 p.m. Thailand time, so I'll be just winding down, getting ready for bed. But if an A plus setup presents itself in the early parts of New York session, which it should between 10 and 11, then I will still be taking trades then, and I still will be calling them. But just a heads up for you guys. I'll also be selling a lot more options, especially on Tesla. I'll be selling a lot more calls and puts because now that Tesla's trading up higher, and I believe Tesla's going to be bullish for the long term, or at least for the next few months, maybe 3 to 6 months, I believe there's going to be an uptrend. So I think that selling calls and puts on Tesla is going to be a great opportunity to collect some really good premiums every single month. So we're going to be doing that. But let's get straight into it. So looking at the economic calendar this week, I see red folder news on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So immediately I am drawn away from Monday. There's no red folder news. I will not be trading it. Tuesday, I don't see any big news. This is Fed Chair Powell testifying at 10. So this isn't really red folder news to me. But if there are equal highs or some kind of a wick that is formed earlier in the day, we can target those equal highs. Or if there's equal lows or a downside wick, we can target it. So Tuesday, I can already see it's not going to be optimal for trading. Wednesday, again, the red folder news is just Fed Chair Powell testifying, and there's a bond auction, so be aware of this. This is going to cause volatility in the market. Also, just not a great day to trade, in my opinion. Thursday is the day, in my eyes, that really pops out. 8:30 a.m., there's going to be this red folder news. Core CPI is coming out, so if we get a big wick to the upside or the downside from this, and there's unemployment claims at the same time, then we should get a great setup up to that data high or data low, the candle that forms. And then after that, there's really not much. I would avoid trading the rest of the day. And then Friday we have core PPI at 8:30. So again, there should be like as Dodgy's DD calls it, is a one setup for life. You get a wick from the data candle to the upside or the downside, and we will trade. We'll find some kind of an IFEG or a market structure shift or a propulsion block, order block setup. We will see what comes up, and that will be the decision factor there. And then at 10 a.m. we have preliminary consumer sentiment. So if we haven't hit the data candles high or low by this point, by 10 a.m., then we should be able to get a setup up to it or down to it at 10 a.m. So that's the economic calendar. Let's take a look at NQ here. So the first thing that popped up in my eyes were these equal highs that formed around just the very end of day on Friday. So what do I expect to happen here? Well, this is a tough call because we're so high in premium, so it's going to be very difficult to really find a setup that works. We do have this 3-minute IFEG right here, so if you draw it out from right here to right here, okay, if we're able to close above this, I mean, it's very likely we're going to hit this level. But you have to be careful because we're so high in premium, and this gap is so large that it's going to be very hard to really get a setup up to those equal highs. What would I really like to see? I mean, personally, if we go over, for example, to the 15-minute chart, if we draw a Fibonacci from high to low of this leg, this is the 50% level. So if we have somehow come down to here and get some kind of an IFEG setup, that might be great to target up to these equal highs. But we'll have to see what plays out this week. Again, Monday we're not trading. Tuesday is a decent day, but not great in my opinion. But Wednesday is going to be the best day to start trading. Let me just double check. Oh no, sorry. Thursday will be the CPI day. So Wednesday is not going to be ideal either, but let's see what setups we get. Just be prepared to see some volatility and see moves that don't necessarily follow through. But again, we are bullish. We're at all-time highs, so it's very likely that the market continues. But again, we have to be really cautious when we're super high in premium, meaning like we're super extended. We have to be careful of taking longs because the market can mess people up by creating equal highs, and people want to target them, and then they don't end up actually hitting until later on. But let's see what happens, like I said. As far as trades, what were we looking for? Well, on Bitcoin, obviously this was a crazy move. This is something that I like to preach a lot, okay? So this is Bitcoin on the daily chart. Whenever you see an obvious swing low, like right here, for example, okay, there's this big wick. I know it's kind of hard to see because of this Bitcoin, the canvas symbol. I think they call it a watermark. This data low right here, or pivot low, whatever you want to call it, swing low. This is where all the people that have been long in Bitcoin this whole time that expected bullish continuation, their stop loss was right here. So we came down and we broke below, it's called sell side liquidity. And now what I would expect is if Bitcoin is going to be bullish for the remainder of the year, this is the area where big money is accumulating shares. They are expecting this to be the low on Bitcoin. All these people got stopped out. And remember, how is liquidity generated in the market? People need to get stopped out of positions. For people to, they're basically selling their positions for big money to buy positions. So they get stopped out on this data, or this swing low, I'm sorry. And then big money is buying the shares that they're selling. So what I expect is this to be the low for the remainder of the year if we're going to continue bullish. So I added quite a lot of long-term shares here. This is not a trade for me. But if you are a trader, this is where you are looking for your longs to form. After sell side liquidity is taken, we got this perfect setup here. Let me get rid of this arrow so you can see it a little bit better. Sorry, my computer is kind of lagging right now because I have a lot of stuff running on it. But we came down with a lot of momentum, took out sell side, which is labeled with this red line, and we formed this IFVG, right? We closed above it. So at minimum, I know for a fact that this is the very high likelihood target, the 58,738. This is where I want to take longs. I said to have your long limit order filled here, your stop loss as it closed below this IFVG, and then we would target this as our first take profit at 63, and then I would honestly just hold, I would take half of the position off there and hold the rest to new highs, hopefully 100,000. We have this low resistance liquidity as well. We have this internal high, or is that the all-time high? No, it's not. It was an internal high that was never taken. We missed it by just a very small amount. If you look here, this space right here between this high and this high are very minimal. So again, if you're looking for a trade, this would be the trade with holding your rest up to these highs and then 100,000. But if you're just a long-term holder, the best times to add are when everybody is scared. The fear and greed index, it's at like a 29 for fear. So there's a lot of fear in the crypto space right now. And so if you're looking to add for long-term, don't be adding at all-time highs. Add when everybody is scared and when we take out sell-side liquidity. That is the most important thing on Bitcoin. So if you are looking to add Bitcoin and you're looking for other trades, another thing that I noticed is Coinbase on the 4-hour chart and also the daily. We had this big push, so we didn't really take out any sell side, but if you notice, we are still delivering from this bullish fair value gap right here. If you want me to draw it out so you can see it better, that is the low of the fair value gap. This is the high of it. Draw the box out in time. We traded into it again. We took out a little bit of sell side, but not this sell side right here. And we had this massive push. It was a very big day for Bitcoin, for Coinbase on Friday. So, wait, this is on a Monday, July 24th. What? Oh, sorry. This was the Friday. We're just looking at it because it's telling me it's a Monday for whatever reason, but it's not. It's the Friday. So we had this big push out of this daily fair value gap. So this tells me that there's probably going to be momentum to continue higher. I've pointed this out a few times, but we have this unbalanced fair value gap on the weekly chart with a low at 290.19. So even if you wanted to take a trade right now, right, you could take it long from this area. And I mean, if you want your risk to be a little bit better, we have this order block here that is basically support for the market. So you could have your stop below it. If you really had high risk tolerance, maybe you size a little bit smaller and just take this as a swing trade that's not as big in size, in case it reverses against you if you really want to be risk averse. But you could also have your risk as a close back below this daily fair value gap and then hold it up to these highs if you really wanted to. That's a good trade that I was potentially looking at. I haven't added it yet, but I want to see how we behave on Monday. And, I mean, ideally CPI, but let's see what happens with Coinbase. It's not something that I'm 100% on yet, but I do like this reaction out of the daily fair value gap. Swing trades that I'm looking at, I've told you guys about Disney. That's one that I've been adding pretty heavily. I sold puts on it as well. We're in this monthly fair value gap, and my stop will be a close below this bullish order block. And I will allow it to go down into this bullish fair value gap right here. But I think that the draw for Disney is going to be this internal high within a fair value gap. The high is at 126.48. So that's one of the best trades that I currently see in the market. This is not because I believe in Disney as a company. It's purely technical based. It's not fundamental based, so don't get that confused. Celsius, another company that I think is going to be great in the future. Highly profitable energy drink company. It did have a very bearish close here, and we closed below this fair value gap. So my thinking is that we're going to go down to the sell side at 48 or 49. If we get there, that is where I will consider long-term ads. Another one I've been adding personally is McDonald's. I'm going to be adding a lot more heavily if we get below this internal sell side, which was a low that was formed in October of 2023. I think that once we get there, that will be a great draw. But I have seen this pattern form where we have this massive wick. A lot of people are expecting the wick to get taken, and then we don't end up actually taking it, and then we continue higher. So I have been adding shares all the way down, like this whole daily, this whole monthly candle, I've been adding shares in anticipation that we close below this. But if we don't, I still have a good amount accumulated for the long term. I don't eat McDonald's, but I think McDonald's is a real estate company. They're very profitable. They create highly addictive foods for a lot of Americans. So I definitely think this is a great ad for the long term. If I'm not mistaken, let me just move my hand away from the mic quick. If we draw, I want to see. Let me take the magnet tool off. We are currently down almost 20% from the high, so it's always a good place to add blue chips. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm seeing. PayPal's another one that I've been looking at. I might start adding this one again soon, but ideally, to really add this one to size, I want to see, was it a weekly fair value gap? I want to see a big, nice bullish close above this weekly fair value gap. If we can get that, I'm going to add the size with anticipation that this is completely going to get blown through, and my internal target will be 76.54 with my final take profit up at this internal high at 102.96. And then if you really want to hold, you can hold up into this inverse fair value gap at 129.76, or this bearish fair value gap right here. So this is one that I'm looking at as well. But yeah, guys, that's it. So again, covered the economic calendar. I covered swing trades. I covered NQ, and I covered my plan for the next few months. I hope you guys are able to take advantage of some of these swing trades. Let me know if you have any questions. You can comment down below or send me a DM on X. As well, if you want to join our Discord, we are currently having a free 3-day trial. You can come and test it out, see if you like it, and you can also ask me questions directly through the Discord. And I wish you guys the best of luck this week.